everybody, it is Romania Black, and we're on episode, well, we're not really even on an episode, we're on volume 4 of Berserk. I'm so used to anime reactions, I'm like, we're on episode 4 of Berserk, it's no big deal. And we are starting the Deluxe Volume 2, so I'm really excited. Before we get into the comments, because I have several comments I want to talk about before we dive into this volume, Moon, over on Patreon, had been asking, being like, you have this really elaborate setup, and I'm like, yes. They're like, well, have you considered just getting torrents of the manga and going from there? And I was like, well, I had originally thought about just downloading digitally the official, because I want to support Miura, I want to support his legacy, I want to support the official release, and I thought about buying digitally the digital versions of just the regular volumes. And then I thought, well, but they're not the deluxe versions, and there are no digital copies of the deluxe versions that you can buy. They're literally just the physical copies. And I said, well, are the torrents of the deluxe editions? And they were like, no, they're just of the regular volumes. And I'm like, well, I'm already spending my money on the deluxe volumes. I might as well get some use out of them than them just sitting on my shelf. So I don't know. And then I was going to play around with it today and download a volume from the torrent that they sent to me on the Discord, but then my internet's out. So I feel like it's a sign from above that the internet's out, and I'm like, I technically cannot download the torrents even if I wanted to. So that's fine. I'm just going to stick with the deluxe version for now. If y'all hate this setup and you would rather me going back to being on this angle of the camera facing here, then you can just comment down below and be like, go ahead and try it. So we'll just see. But for today, starting out volume 4, we're just going to keep the regular old format. The lighting's a little different, so maybe it will help. But yeah, I was like, never mind. So I do have a couple of comments I want to talk about, and by a couple I mean there are several here that I want to talk about before we dive into volume 4. Crispy Bacon, which is an amazing username, props to you, said, would I have dropped the series if I hadn't watched the anime and had started with volume 1? That is a really good question. Here's the thing. I'm kind of a completionist, and if a series, unless a series is just absolutely god-awful in quality and just offensive in everything about it, and not necessarily its tone or plot, but just offensive in how it's made, there's no effort, there's no care, it just completely, there's no thought process to the plot or characters, and nothing makes sense. Unless it's something like that, I don't think I would ever drop a series. I think if anything, I would go through that series and talk about the things I don't like about it and try to establish a dialogue surrounding that. So right off the bat, I'm like, I don't think I would have dropped this series. But second, I definitely don't think I would have dropped it starting where it is. I would have been more curious about Guts at this point. Like, why is he being such a sourpuss? Why is he being so down? But I don't think I would have dropped it. I think Puck was enough. Puck is enough to keep me motivated because Puck is like our audience surrogate. So I know a lot of people probably hate Puck, but I find that they are the one reason that you could latch onto this series, because you, like Puck, want to find out what it is with Guts. What's this whole thing with Guts and Griffith? What's been going on between them? How did Guts get to this point? So I think that's pretty important to note. So yeah, I think that's fine. I think I would have kept going with it, but thank you for asking. I think having watched the anime first is definitely a bonus because it makes me more aware of some of the things Miura is setting up. So that part's nice. I'm glad I started with the 97 anime, but I don't think I would have quit. I think I would have kept going out of sheer curiosity, right? And this is far from the worst thing I've ever watched. It's polar opposite, in fact, right? Towering Tosca said, would Corcus have gotten as far with the demon as Guts? No! The answer is no. Part of the hilarity of it being the demon that killed Corcus being the first one that Guts gets with, part of the sick, morbid humor is that Guts gets to go all the way with this demon lady, and all Corcus got to do was like motorboat her. That was like literally it, right? So no, I don't think Corcus would have gotten as far with her as possible. John Smoke says Guts throwing up in volume 1 could be from the trauma of killing kids from the Golden Age arc, which is where we're about to dive into. I don't know. I don't know if I want to comment on that yet, because it seems like if that is the case, because the only kid that we really know that Guts has killed during the Golden Age arc is Adonis, which is Julius's son, but he didn't seem like he didn't seem morbidly worried about it. Him and Griffith were just like, murder people and then you get to be king. Like Griffith is singing I Just Can't Wait to Be King off in the distance. I didn't think at the time that Guts was very remorseful about that. But now that we're going back through the manga, that may be the case. Maybe there was stuff with the manga that was cut from the anime that will add layers to that scene. So I don't know, but that's an interesting thought to bring up. And so I'm not exactly sure yet. Amir Almond notes that the woman who was beheaded did not have the mark on her head at first, which I was wondering about that reading that chapter. I was like, when we see her head get decapitated, it doesn't look like she's got the mark, but then she does when the Count catches the head. And Amir Almond says that is because Guts drew on it with blood to let the Count know, I'm the Black Swordsman, I'm here, I've got the brand on me, I've come for you. And I'm like, oh, I like that Guts is kind of reappropriating the brand. Guts is taking the brand that marks him as a sacrifice that should doom him, and he's rebranding himself as the Black Swordsman through it and like almost reappropriating that image to give himself power rather than have it taken away. I like that. I think that's really, really cool. I like it a lot. And then Reptov, 1954, said that Zondark's transformation is based on the Parasite series. I have wanted to watch Parasite for a long time, and every time I bring it up to my brother, he's like, like just like it's basically the same look he gave me when I told him I was going to watch Berserk. He was like, So Parasite has been annoyingly like just staring me in the face on Netflix for like the last 2 years. I just haven't had time to watch it. So I definitely think I would like to get to it. I'm going to have a slot on my channel for shows that I want to watch. And so that may be one down later on this year that I'm like, okay, I have this slot open. Now I can watch Parasite. We'll see. I'm interested in it, but I don't know how I feel though, knowing that it's based off of that. I don't know how to feel about that. So, and the fact that Miura drew inspiration from Parasite, I feel like I need to watch it, but also I feel like I am dreading it. So there's that. Dogon Me said that Miura knew he wanted to tell a story about anger, but didn't have it fully fleshed out until volume 3, which, yeah, I get that because, yeah, you can tell that the story is about revenge and anger, and it's literally called Berserk. You're going berserk out of fury, right, and rage, but you can definitely tell in volume 3, the exposition and the plot take a turn, and you're suddenly like, oh, now we're introduced to all these characters that Guts has history with. What's the deal with that? What's going on with that? And volume 3 definitely sets the tone of here's our character. They have a past. Maybe you want to know about that past. Okay, well, let's start and tell you the past. And then we get into the Golden Age arc. So that makes a lot of sense. And I didn't realize this. The Count, the slug that's the Count, that demon was also the one that killed Pippin. So, okay. So basically, and I don't want to be told whether I'm right or wrong. Don't clarify. Let me theorize out loud here with y'all, and we'll see as we go. But if the Count gained the power of the demon when he went to the other dimension, asking, I need this power to kill my wife and all that fun stuff from last volume. I'm assuming that the demon themselves, the little slug demon, was just given to him and he ate it because he wasn't the slug demon before during the eclipse. It seems like the slug demon was then given to him and he became, but this was before Femto. So there's a very big possibility, but he was the Count. He was like on the royal court. So did he just leave the royal court and show up at this eclipse to eat people randomly? And then when he was done, he just went back to his castle? That seems bizarre, so I'm going to wait and see if the manga gives us more on that. But if it was the slug demon that killed Pippin and then was given to the Count, or the Count just showed up for the giant party of Femto's birthday or whatever happened, then okay. So Guts has killed not only the demon that killed Corcus, but now the demon that's killed Pippin. So we're working back. We got to avenge Judo now. We got to avenge, well, hell, you might as well kill all the demons if you're going to get vengeance for Casca, and Femto, obviously. And then Rickert, we don't know yet, so we'll have to wait and see about that. But interesting. Right, so we've avenged 2, but the time left, yeah. And then this time, instead of just like with the female demon that killed Corcus, Guts just killing her didn't really have any impact, but now killing the Count has left this princess wanting revenge on Guts, and it's just left this path of destruction in his wake, and a pissed off princess who wants revenge. So it's just furthered the cycle of revenge, unfortunately. So that's really sad. Boo. And then Moomin finally says that there's a lot of eye loss references. I don't want to, I think they were trying to keep like an eye loss count. I don't want to know, because I don't want to know who's going to lose an eye and who's not. I don't know. Obviously there's a Christian reference, the eye for an eye. And then there's the phrase, an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind, that sort of thing. But I did like what they pointed out with 2 references. One was Odin. Odin, mythologically, had their right eye sacrificed in order to drink from the water of knowledge and wisdom. So then the question there is, what did Guts gain anything from the sacrifice of his eye? Because he said his eye was blinded during Femto's assault on Casca. So did Guts gain anything from losing that eye? Was anything sacrificed to him? Or was it just he had to give up the eye in order to survive that moment in the other dimension? We still don't know. We're going to find out in the manga, I'm pretty sure, but we don't know yet. And then the other historical or mythological reference is Horus. Mythologically, the lore around Horus lost their right eye to Seth in battle. But apparently Seth lost a testicle, so Horus got along pretty good. Although, you've got 2 testes, maybe losing one isn't the end of the world. So I'm like, so did Griffith lose his balls in that metaphorical comparison? In becoming Femto, did Griffith lose his balls to become Femto? We'll see. So I liked all of those comments. Those were all really great. But yeah, I'm really excited now. I've talked for a wonderful 12 minutes. I'm ready to dive into this volume. Mm-hmm. It's great to be getting Berserk comments again, though. Y'all are amazing, and you have all these wonderful things to say. And I just feel sorry that you have to wait until I get to certain points in the manga before we can address some things. But just be patient with me. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. So we're going to start looking at this manga here, and I'm going to pull it up here on the screen in 3, 2, 1. I've got it pulled open here to our table of contents. Volumes 4, 5, and 6 in this deluxe volume. Volume 4 is what we're looking at today, which is a lovely 234 pages long. A lovely 234 pages. And of course, we have Griffith looking beautiful there at the start. So that's always exciting. And this is where I start. We'll get to the cover of the volume when we get to the end of the deluxe edition. So that's good. But oh, damn. Okay. Wow, there are 5 chapters in this volume. Volume 2 that only had 2 chapters was a bit. It was a bit, but there are actually 5 chapters in this, so that's exciting. And we see Guts there on the battlefield. Now, the one thing I'm not looking forward to this, and you all know, I'm not liking this Donovan character and where I think it's going. So, like, Miro, why there got to be assault? Why you got to do this? Can't you find something else to give us in terms of being bad? But I don't think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Donovan guy is, he's so big and gross, but he also kind of looks like a troll, but he also, like, his eyes are going different directions, but he also has an appearance that's kind of like the Count in a weird way. Yeah, it happens all the time in the army. Well, isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient? Yeah, it's just, ugh. And his, like, belt and everything looks like a chastity belt gone wrong. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this. I don't know how graphic Mira is going to make this, but why? Just why? And then, of course, Guts reaching for his sword. Like, he's a little kid. He's like 9 years old. Fights like a wildcat. Ugh. The interesting thing here, just from an aesthetic artist point of view, because that's where my head is going, is that Guts, the way that he's drawn there, kind of looks a little bit like Puck. And someone had commented that the elves kind of look like children. And Puck kind of has that childlike innocence. So, ugh. But why? Ugh. I paid Gambino good money. I paid him 3 silver coins. And Gambino sold your ass out. And Guts is like, what are you talking about? Ugh. I hate that. I really, really do. What can you say? What can you say in that moment, right? Of it all going to black. And I'll turn the page before I continue talking about it. Ugh. Son of a bitch. Ugh. What can you say, honestly? I feel very bad for Guts, and I'm pissed off for Guts on his behalf. Not only because he's a kid, but just anybody in that situation where you feel powerless it's just awful. And so it now makes perfect sense of Guts not wanting people to touch him. Which, God, that speaks so much for his development as a character to get to the point where he could have physical intimacy with Casca makes that 1,000 times more powerful, right? Because if you've been a victim of assault like that, there's a long period of time where you don't want any of that, right? You don't want anybody near you. And just the idea of physical intimacy is devastating because you wonder, you're like, is that person ever going to be like that experience? And that sense of trust is gone. And so Guts' whole sense of trust being gone and how he doesn't trust people, he doesn't want to get close to people, he doesn't want to know people, all of that has so much more meaning now based on this. And I know that a lot of people in the comments when I was talking about Casca back in episode 25 were like, well, and I was trying to like be spoiler warned, and so I kind of just brushed this off because there was a few things I kind of saw, in the comments where they were like, well, Miura treats men and women equally. I really don't give a shit about that because it's bad either way. It's awful regardless of gender. Like, gender has nothing to do with it. It's just in most media that gets put out to people, it's typically women. 99% of the time. You can look at examples and they're women. Or they're children. That's another thing. They're either children or they're women. But it's because they're in a position of powerlessness. Now, will we ever see Guts as an adult in this situation? Probably not. But I don't know. It's Miura. Because Guts is supposed to be our big alpha male adult that is powerful and would not be in a compromising situation like that. He's not a child, right? Or he's not like Casca where he's a woman. So I don't know now. I'm not going to say that that's not going to happen because it's Miura, but it's going to be interesting to see, would that happen to a male character? I don't know. It happens to Griffith, so I don't know. But I hate it. It adds so much depth to Guts' character, but in a bad way, right? But then it makes his moments where he overcomes, you feel so much more powerful about it. And look who it is. It's freaking Gambino. Yeah. So this did not happen to Guts, I'm assuming, prior, based on his reaction, because you would think he would have gone to Gambino before if this had happened, right? And he's like, I got a hangover, go practice sword somewhere else. Ugh. And he's like, does Gambino know about last night? Ugh. Oh. Telling him to get a move on. But then Guts can't speak up. Oh my God. So yeah, that sucks. That sucks a lot. Because then you're left wondering, okay, in Guts' mind, he's like, well, Gambino's acting so nonchalant about this. So Gambino couldn't have sold me out, because he was angry with me. That couldn't have been the case. So that can't be it, right? But then he's like, he doesn't want to tell Gambino because he doesn't want to reveal what's happened because, one, he doesn't want Gambino to get mad at Guts because of it being Donovan. He doesn't want to out Donovan because he doesn't want one of Gambino's friends to come back to him and make things worse again. But then it's also like he doesn't want to believe that, you don't want to believe that Gambino would be so nonchalant that he wouldn't care that Guts was assaulted and he just treats it like it's nothing. Guts doesn't want to believe that. He doesn't want to say something and then Gambino be like, yeah, I sold you to him, so what? Because Gambino's like the only father parental figure that Guts has in his life. And the last thing you want to find out is that that person, the only person you somewhat trust, has no validity in that trust at all. That's the last thing you want. And so, of course, Guts wouldn't want to find that truth out because once that's out in the open, you can't take it back. Once it's been revealed that Gambino was perfectly fine with Guts getting assaulted, then you can't take it back. But it's like, does Guts know? Does Guts not know? I mean, but in my mind, Gambino knew. In my mind, Gambino knew exactly what he was doing. He sold Guts to Donovan, and he doesn't care. Because to him, Guts is like Sis. Even though Sis was his wife, she was a slave. And he just had sex with her and like, yeah, she's going to have my kid, whatever. That's just the world he lives in. Guts is just, even though he keeps Guts around and there's like a shadow of parental care there, a bare echo, it's nowhere near the real thing. And the fact that he's just like, yeah, this world's hard, deal with it. I think he knew exactly what it was, but Guts did not want to confirm that suspicion and find out that way, right? Well, it's going to make him killing Gambino not feel so sad. It's going to be like, well, he had it coming, right? Okay. And so now we're going on the band there, and Donovan, we agreed that all plunder becomes ours. As always, to the swift go the spoils. Donovan is just disgusting. He just looks so creepy. Nope. Having none of it. Nope. And then Guts looking over. And of course, Guts, that glare, that little side eye that Guts gives in that moment, that's so understood now. That it's Guts being like, he's turning away. He's like, I'm stuck in this cruel world. I have no other choice but either to like turn an eye to it and just not let it affect me, or I'm going to drown in it. Ugh. And then we have our battle scene. And you know what? If you've got all of this emotional turmoil building up inside of you and you need a release for it, killing these guys might just be the excuse that he needs. Where do you think you're going? Oh. Yeah, Donovan. Oh! Oh, the bow! Oh, there it is. Guts. Oh, there it is. Oh, shit. Yep. Say it. Oh. Say it again. Say it. Who sold me out? Say it. I dare you to say it. I'm glad he's dead now. I'm glad that took 3 pages to get him out of the way. I was like, this better not be like a repeat offender thing. No, I'm glad that's gone. But yeah, he doesn't want to admit that Gambino would sell him out. He doesn't want to admit that. And I like that even in this moment where Guts has killed him, he's just like, damn it. Like there's a moment of Guts, because he's only 9 years old, right? He's a kid, where he's just like, you can see the turmoil in his eyes, that he's just so upset about it, right? Ugh. There is a lot about when people are violated like that. It's like the revenge fantasy. It's, again, usually relegated to female characters, but it's like the thing where the woman is violated or assaulted and she goes on like a quest to get revenge on the assailant. And that's pretty much what this is. And it comes to fruition and it's just done like that. Now the question is Gambino going to say anything now that this has happened? That is a very important note to make. Oh. Okay, and so there's cannon fire. Oh, ew. What is that? It's like the person, like just their flesh and everything just exploding from the suit of armor? Or is it just a corpse? Interesting. It looks like it's just dirt and stuff thrown over the corpse. But was it supposed to be anybody special? Or it was Gambino. Ah, okay. Okay. He lost a lot of blood, but I managed to save him. Ooh. But with that leg, he'll never fight again. We've got to think about a new leader. I say Duncan for now. So that gives a lot more context to the anime where he was in the chair and everything with the dog, which I'm assuming we're going to see. But you've always acted superior to me. Oh. That little shot of Guts with his little hand on his nose like this is the most precious, beautiful little drawing of him, like reflecting on that little scrape, that scar that he has. Why does he... Oh, Miura, you draw him so cute. Baby Guts. Baby Guts. Oh. And I'm saying, don't die on me, sis. I'm on my way back. That ain't you. And Guts squeezing his hand just like he did Sis's. It don't sound like you at all, Gambino. Because, yeah, Guts is like... And see, that's the part that, like, Miura, like, just grabs you and kind of tugs at you a little bit. Because in the anime, Gambino seems like, oh, he's just, you know, the tough love dad figure. And he's just, you know, tough loving Guts. But he really treats him like his son because of his wife and everything. And ha ha ha. But then here, you're like, no, he sold Guts out for money. That's not how a father acts. That's a piece of garbage, a piece of shit. What are you doing? But then there's this little moment where he's reflecting on his wife and wants her to be okay. And in that moment, Guts is like, you don't, all of these conceived notions we have of you, this adds that other human layer to it, to where he's still a human at the end of the day, despite all the horrible things he's done. What do you do with that? And for Guts to push back the idea that Gambino sold him out and to embrace his hand in this moment and be with him, it says so much for Guts. And it says so much for now how he is, that he's been pushed to the brink so many times. He's just eventually, you know, like, he's fallen so far in the darkness. But underneath it all, there is still like that moment of him clutching his hand and saying and staying with Gambino despite it all. It's still in Guts. It just gets buried deeper and deeper and deeper. And the wall that he puts up just gets thicker and thicker. Damn. So 2 years pass, right? 2 years later, I'm assuming Guts is probably 11 at this point, right? And then there we go. And he fights this seems like it's around the time that we started the anime where he's fighting all the guys with you can't see their face. They're just no names that he kills. And then he runs back and goes, Gambino! And runs back to him. And there's the good dog. Yep. I killed the enemy general and I won the reward. This should get you plenty of wine and women. And he says, meat. And he says, you know, meat for the dog. That's an interesting thing there, because Guts assumes that... Guts assumes he's like, oh, well, look, you can get wine and women now with this money. But that's not what Gambino wants. Instead, he wants to feed the dog. And then he yells at him. And hits him, yeah, with the crutch. He's like, I'll go get some. Gambino is a flawed character. A very flawed character indeed. And it's almost like why does he care about the dog more than the wine and women? Or does he think the women are going to take pity on him and he doesn't want the wine because then he'll just feel bad about himself? And then he kicks the dog. So yeah. So it doesn't matter. Then he kicks the dog anyway because the dog has pity on him. So anybody that has pity on him, he's like, I don't want you to pity me anymore. And he says, there's big bad Gambino up on his hill. We should all be so lucky. And that's what he doesn't want to hear, right? It was a joke. Yeah. If you ain't brave enough to fight a wounded man, then I don't want to hear any of your crap. Yep. Yeah, he's pissed that his life is not going to ever be the same than it was before. And then there's the dog following behind him. Yeah, and the dog keeps following him. So then Guts is pissed because he's like, I got this money. I earned this money to help Gambino to make him feel better. And he's pissed. And then so Guts takes it out on the tent. Oh. I hate that. Guts is like, he has nowhere to central or to vent his anger. So he just vents it in that tent. Poor Guts. Right? Ugh. And then, okay, so we're gonna get to Gambino. I do like the way the 1997 anime did Gambino on the hill and did it in like the sunset colors. I thought that always looked so creepy, but it was a really good visual. And now we have the tent in the rain. Luckily, the hole that he did in the tent was not terrible. He was able to still sleep there. Oh, I love the lightning flash in the manga that you see it lit up there. That's a nice effect. Like, Miura didn't have to do that. He didn't have to draw that. I should stop thinking about it. Right now, all I need to think about is surviving tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll kill lots of enemies again and earn lots of money. I'm like, why can't Guts sleep? Why can't he get a good night's sleep anywhere? Everybody's coming into his tent at night and messing with him. Why can't he get a good night's sleep, right? Casket was a breeze compared to this, right? Oh my God. Ugh. Yeah, what's wrong with him? He almost looks like he's sleepwalking. You can't see his... And he has like such a demonic presence, kind of like Zod a little bit. Ugh. He's like, Gambino, what are you doing? Like, what? Oh, he's drunk. Oh, I like the lightning flashes and he can see that. And Guts is like, oh, he's drunk. He's like, it was so careless of me. Things are like this because I let you stay here. I figured you'd just die long before. Puny little runt, you shouldn't have even been alive anyway. Sis, the one who picked you up, died. And I lost a leg and had to quit as a leader. It's too stupid even for a joke. What the hell have you got against me, giving me evil for good? What have you got against me, huh? And Guts is like, I haven't done anything. And Guts is like, you're a devil's child. A cursed child who's nothing but bad luck. You should have died on that day 11 years ago beneath your mother's corpse. I don't understand why poor Guts. It's like he's, Guts deep down has a good heart and he's just trying to like live through the environment that he's born in. But it's just like whether everything that happens to him, even back to Theresia in the last volume being like, I'll kill you, it's all your fault. It's like Guts gets all of this blame, but it's like, what did he do? He didn't do anything. He's just been there. It's, what the fudge? You should have died. Oh my God. Okay. And Guts is like, I gotta defend myself. What the fudge? Yeah. I love the way Miura draws this moment and has like Guts against the tent and it's all black behind him. Like, that's so well done. But what in the world? Oh, get to the. Oh, I'll let you in on something. Oh, here we go. Do you remember what happened that night of your first battle? Donovan bought you for 3 silver coins, and I'm the one he paid. Why? Yeah, Guts is like the one thing I didn't want to know. Why would... Because I was sick of you, that's why. You killed Sis, and you followed me around like some lonely puppy. Oh. Oh my God. And he's like, why? Oh my God. Oh. Why? Oof. And in that moment where Guts says why, not only is it heartbreaking, not only is that illustration just breaking my heart into 1,000 pieces, but now it reminds me of Puck back a few volumes ago when Puck was like, why are you doing this, Guts? And Puck has this look of why, and Puck has the exact same expression on their face. So now you think that Guts is like, oh, well, shit, I'm acting the same way. And you know that has to make Guts feel awful, so, oh my God. Ugh. Just slay me now, Miura. Okay. Oh, yeah, and then Guts with his little elven ears. All right, The Golden Age, Chapter 3. Somebody was noting, I think it was Moomin, that it's actually watercolors, which is a shame. I can't see them, but I'm sure I'll be able to eventually look up all of those. Like, yeah, this is all... You killed Sis. Like, in the end, that's like all he was obsessed with was just the woman that he loved and that. Which, you know, there is a part of you, what's so crazy is like this intergenerational trauma that has like gone on, because I'm not saying that Guts would accept money from someone for someone to assault another. I'm not saying that. But the attitude that Guts has towards people dying or people being hurt and the walls that he puts up in some regard is comparable to Gambino in a lot of ways. And in the end, his anger and rage towards Griffith goes back to Griffith's assault on Casca, just like Gambino is pissed off at Guts for his presence causing Sis to apparently die. So there is a lot of parallel there. There's a lot of similarities. So that's just, ugh. I mean, it's not the same at all, right? There's a lot of differences, but the similarities that are there they are something else, y'all. Oh. And why does Miura has this thing where Miura draws these characters with these big giant eyes and their mouths are like, they look like, it looks like art from like the 1920s, like where they had little tiny faces and the big eyes and they're like, and just doing all that. Like, that's what it looks like. Oh my God. And Guts just realizing that to defend himself, he killed Gambino. Yeah. And Gambino's dead. But then he really realizes in that moment what's happened. Like, it fully hits him that he's killed him and he's dead. And of course, that's when these guys are going to come in and be like, oh shit, you killed Gambino. Did you kill him, Guts? And then all Guts knows to do is defend himself because he's like, those guys are going to kill me if I don't fight them. And yeah. And that's exactly what happens. You little creep. And telling him to get back here. And then Guts is like, I'm going to take this horse bareback. It looks like it's ate a lot, so we're good. We're fine. Oh my God. Why is this happening? Yeah. Why Guts? Seriously. Right? Oh. And where Gambino was murdered, it was Guts who killed Gambino. This is thanks to that. This is the thanks that bastard gave him after living under his roof for some 10 years. I mean, it's not been 10 years. He picked him up. Well, he's 11, so I guess since he was a baby. He was practically a father to him. He's a father killer. But why? He looked after him, didn't he? It was too much of a burden, Gambino, with his injury. Men who kill their fellows get hanged. I can't let it go. We shouldn't have ever picked him up under that tree. He's an evil omen. A cursed kid who's nothing but bad luck. Also, I'm getting very much, if you've read Heaven Official's Blessing, I'm getting Hua Chong vibes from Guts. Very Hua Chong vibes. Fortunately for Hua Chong, he finds a balance to help him manage his bad luck, but I'm not seeing that for Guts, so I don't know how that's going to work out for him. I would love for Guts to find his equivalent to Shilian. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't feel like that's going to happen. I don't feel like Miura is going to give us like a romantic sweeping spell, right? I don't think that's going to be the case, but maybe. That'd be nice if he did. The thing that's also so crazy about this is that they talk about, and this part here is reminding me of Banana Fish. It's a shoujo manga that came out probably around the same time as Berserk, so I don't think it's influenced by it. I think they could have influenced each other because Miura seems to have got a lot from shoujo manga in terms of inspiration. But in Banana Fish, this isn't a spoiler, it's just a subplot. There is a man in the town that the main character grows up in who is well known by the townspeople and he's well liked by the townspeople. They respect him. And then you come to find out that he's actually he molests young boys in that town, and it's disturbing and disgusting. But the people in the town, they don't know that. Only certain characters know that. And so the townspeople all think, they're like, what an upstanding guy. Like, he's just a normal everyday bloke. Well, how could this happen to him? And he ends up dying. And so in the story, it's kind of the same thing here where these guys in this community, Donovan's dead. And for all we know, Donovan was the only one that assaulted Guts. So none of these other guys, they don't know anything about what Gambino's done. They know that he's like extremely rough around the edges, that he was their leader and he's a murderer, but they don't know what he's done to Guts that would lead Guts to kill him. So it's kind of like the same deal. Like there's just you don't usually know the full story. So these guys make a general assumption about Guts, saying he's a cursed omen, he's evil, everything like that. They don't know the full situation. So I feel like that's a big thing that comes about in this story as well. We don't know the full picture. And so when we pass judgments on a character or judgments on events, we often do it without knowing the full context. And that has consequence, right? Oh, poor Guts, though. And then, yeah, he gets struck by the arrow. Ugh. Struck by the arrow. And you would think that would normally kill a person, right? You think that would kill a person? I saw him. Jerk. There's no way he lived from up this high. But man, I can't move. It's not even my own body. Yeah, how does he live through this? I forgot. This has been a long time since the events of the anime. What has happened? It's been a while since I've watched this episode. What does end up happening to him? Oh. He somehow survived with that arrow and everything. All the stars. And then the moon, yeah. Ugh. Almost feels like a werewolf. It almost feels like a werewolf fan fiction where Guts should be a werewolf because it's like the big full moon. He's just staring at it. But yeah, the question is, how does he, Guts is he bad luck or is he literally Hua Chong? But him just staring at the moon. I love these pages too, where Miura there's no dialogue. There's not really any concrete explanation of the scene. It's just, this is it. This bright ball. But that doesn't look like a moon for a second. It looks like something else. And then he looks again and it's the moon. So, I'm cold and I've lost too much blood while I was out. And I have 2 broken ribs. Where am I going anyway? It would have been easier to lie there and die like that. There'd be nothing anymore. Here, there's only bad stuff. So where? Oh, Guts, sweetheart. Oh, and the wolves. Yes. Oh. Oh, all the wolves. That face that he makes of those wolves with him smiling like that, where he's just like, all right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to meet my fate. It's over. It's over. This is it. The wolves are going to kill me. They're going to attack me. Oh. But he won't let it happen. It's like his arm moves, his body moves before his head. Like, it's that instinct to survive. And his instincts to survive keeps him from getting killed. Yeah. And it's like Guts, he's like, I'm not going to stop fighting. It's like, he's like, I could just stand here and die and let them kill me, but I'm not going to let that happen. Oh my gosh. Oh! Yeah, this scene in the anime was just like, is he gonna die? But no, his instinct is to keep moving. And he's like, yeah. And the sad thing is, Guts is like, only bad stuff happens here. I just want to go somewhere where bad stuff won't happen to me. I'm like, I want you to go somewhere like that too, Guts. I would love for you to find that. But yeah, it's just that instinct that he has inside to keep fighting. I feel like there's a part of me that thinks, like, with his birth and everything and his history, that there's something else behind Guts that we don't know yet as the audience. I feel like Mira is setting that up. But then there's another part of me that's like, maybe he was just this regular kid that was born unlucky and had to go through all these trials and tribulations. And despite everything bad happening to him, he keeps on going. He keeps on surviving because that's all he knows how to do. And it's supposed to be, just inspiring to you, being like, if you're ever going through something bad, you could be going through what Guts goes through, but he keeps on surviving, so you need to as well. But just even as a kid, seeing that face of desperation, and then the kids move on. Gambino. Yep. And there we go, until this traveling troupe comes by. Oh, it's a kid. Is he alive? He's in bad shape. Did he kill all those wolves? No way. Either way, he's got good luck getting found by us in the middle of the wilderness. Good luck with mercenaries. Angus was saying he needed another man in his squad. But what's for the arrow room? Maybe he's a runaway slave. The world's a strange place. Yeah. Damn. And then him and Gambino. I like that little star. It's reminiscent of like the moon that he was looking up at by the lake where he fell. And it also kind of looks like the little fairy dust that Puck leaves behind on like the little pages with them. I mean, yeah, the question is, because here we just had a few pages ago, again, we talk about Watchong and Heaven Official's Blessing. Is it good luck or is it bad luck? Or does it depend on your perspective? Because these guys are like, this kid's got good luck to be found by us. Otherwise he would have died. And then from the other guy's perspective, he's a bad luck omen. So which is it? Does it matter? And then 4 years later, so Guts is 15. He's 15 now because he was 11 before. And then we're back to where we started in episode 2, right? Yep. Whoever brings me the general heads gets all the reward he wants. Oh man, we got Jaws flying. Hey, Bazuso! I was like, where's that one guy? He had the round helmet. It's Bazuso. Look at him. Long time no see. Am I right? Who killed 30 Men at once? No one's gonna get past me. And then we have 15-year-old little Guts. Look at him. There he be. I like his belt has like the infinity sign on it, which is, infinitely keep on going. Oh, Guts. Wow. Look at that sword. He's showing off. He's going to get himself killed with that giant sword. Yep. So I like the idea that Guts keeps asking the blacksmith to keep making him a bigger and bigger sword, right? Because obviously he didn't have a sword. He had a sword, but it wasn't as big as this one, right? Because he's 15 now. Oh, Baziso. Oof. You'll regret this, kid. Getting your head knocked off for 7 gold coins. He's like, bah. So yeah, I mean, Guts has spent the last 4 years with these mercenaries, kind of like what he did with Gambino, and he has this cold look in his eye because that's the only life he's ever known. He's not known a nice life at all. And then, yep, there we go. And Guts, so yeah. I mean, he's been training with a sword since he was like 3 years old. So the fact that he's a master swordsman, now we're figuring it out, like where all that came from, right? So when I was questioning it back a few volumes ago, like, did he practice with someone after the events of the anime? Not necessarily. He's always been, good with a sword. But oh, Baziso. Okay. I also like that the mask it simultaneously looks like Man in the Iron Mask, and it also looks like Jason Voorhees. So there's that. What we got here? Oh yeah, when he sliced his side and sliced through the armor. Yes. Oh no! Oh ew! Well, there's our eyeball count. There goes an eyeball. Why did that have to happen? But there it is. Blech. Gross. No, thank you. No, thank you. Oh. And then there's Guts. Yep. The idea of all this death and destruction for literally a decade of his life already is the norm. Like just taking people's lives for money is just something that's an everyday thing to him. So you ingrain those habits in your system, and you ingrain the idea of being cold and heartless because that's what you have to do to survive in this world. You don't just abandon those habits because a fairy popped into your existence, So Puck doesn't know the extent of Guts and how far back this, reaches, right? Puck has no idea. Ugh. Man, for a 15-year-old, those biceps and everything, right? And he's just now going through puberty, I'm sure. The Golden Age, Chapter 4. Oh my God, Baziso's just hanging out there, just dead body, and they're like, yep, mop him up. I give Mira a lot of credit because drawing a page like this, drawing all of this is difficult and time consuming. I don't know exactly how long he had per chapter to illustrate this. I would assume it had to be more than a month. I know like Isayama and Attack on Titan had like a month per chapter, but there's no way. Okay. Oh. Who's stronger, you or him? There's no comparison. Right, Griffith. And there's our first peek at Griffith. Oh my gosh. I'm sure the manga readers were like, ah! At this point. I forgot Griffith was there automatically. I forgot Griffith was there. I thought he just met him on the hill randomly. I forgot he was up here in the fort watching. Let's get out while we can. Here's half a year's wages and the reward for the battle. Count it yourself. Yeah, I'm shocked. Look at this guy. Would you like to serve me officially? Well, he looks like he's a reference to someone. Not Tom Selleck, but I feel like he's a reference to an actor somehow, this guy. I wouldn't mislead you, and I'll pay you 3 times what I already paid you. And if you wish, I'd promote you to a squire. A merc like you might never get this chance. And he's like, no. Because, yeah, not only would Guts not taking that position makes more sense now because, one, he can't trust this guy. And Guts has no sense of trust, right? He doesn't trust any of them. And then, 2, not only that, but it's like he's seen that even if he does trust you, like he trusted Gambino, there's no guarantee you're not going to betray him. And that makes the whole thing with Griffith even worse because Guts did trust him. They had developed this relationship. And then for Griffith to betray them by sacrificing them all is just like, well, I tried to trust this one person who I could trust over anybody else, and it didn't work out. Damn. He's like, no, the contract is up today. And then the moment he grabs him, he says, don't touch me. Don't ever touch me. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. Nope. You're like, no, I'd rather not. Don't want that. Go die like a dog on some battlefield then. Oof. Bold words, Cotton. Oh, man, here we go. Okay. And here we are. Somebody's coming. Oh, the guy who killed Bazuso yesterday. So that gives context, too, because I was like, how did Griffith make it all the way back from the fort to them? But there was a day's time in between, so that makes sense. Yeah. He got the roar. Oh, look at Corcus. Look how young Corcus looks there. Wow. Oh, my God. Huh. He got the reward for killing Bazuso. What once was lost is found, you know? How about it, Griffith? And then you see the little helmet sitting next to him. Do as you will. Ooh. Okay. All right. Go to kill him, Corga. What's so funny, Casca? And then, yeah. You weren't up to killing him, Corcus. Uh-huh. And she's like, you'll die. That Corcus. Are you sure about this, Griffith? Oh, look at Judo. Look how good Judo looks. Oh, man. I absolutely love Judo with the arms out, guns out, like the pecs there. Hello, Judo. How you doing? Oh. Wow. And the close-up on the helmet. The idea of Griffith and then like the skeleton armor next to him. Ooh, that is, that's mighty interesting. And then I love Guts' little like face. It's like, oh, what? And then here come these guys. Ready to come, these robbers with Corcus. Bless. And Guts is like, well, I'll just take care of you like I do everyone else. And then Dante. But Dante, yeah, I mean, and part of this is Corcus like led this little battle against Guts. And so Dante dying, it's like, well, it's kind of Corcus's fault, you know? So Corcus feeling mad about it later, it's like, no, you know, you're kind of the reason this is happening. And then, yeah, Guts taking on the mace and everything and slicing his arm off. And Corcus is like, oh shit, this guy is actually strong. We're like, well, no joke, dirtwad. Okay. Yeah, Dante and Errol both are down. Now he's checking out. She's like, I've told you so. And that's when Griffith says, Casca, go take care of it. Why me? It's Corcus's fault. Ooh. And Griffith just looks at her. And she says, fine. Interesting. Because in that moment, the idea when Griffith just looks at her and he just looks, he doesn't say anything. He just gives her a look like you're going to go do it. There is a coldness there. And I know everybody's been begging the question, which we're going to find out with this manga, is has Griffith always been the cold, calculating, could-be demon of Femto? Or is it Femto? Is it Griffith? There's a little moment there where it's cold. Yeah, that was that little look there. Uh-huh. And then Guts, you know, he could have killed Corcus right then and there, but Casca shot the arrow into his arm. Yeah. I also like that Casca's hair and like the way that the leather and armor is positioned looks exactly like Guts. So they look very, very similar. And she's like, I'm only here because Griffith ordered me to. And I like the cage that's on her hair so that you don't fully get to see that Casca, you assume Casca's a woman, but you don't fully get confirmation of that, right? At this point. But then they both face one another. Yep. And then when he knocks the cage off her head, that's when he's going to see that it's a woman, right? Yeah. Wow. But Guts and Casca look so similar there. They have like the same haircut. Guts just has pointy ears instead of rounded ears. They literally look nearly identical. So similar. And yeah, bastard. Yep. The only one of us who can beat her is Griffith. And she's like, no, he's driving too hard. And then she's like, I'm dead. Oh, and then the spear in between. Oh my gosh. Now, in the manga, I will say this right now, Miura makes them look like they are 15 or 16. He makes them look like teenagers, right? They don't, in the anime, Griffith comes up on the horse and is like full-blown Bishonen, and you're just like, oh, hey. But here, like, the proportions make them look a little bit more shorter, right? Nice. Okay. Wow. And Griffith with the helmet there. That bird helmet that becomes part of Femto. Ooh. There, Miura's just showing that shit off now. That's such a good shot of Griffith, though. And then, oh yeah, Casca's like, Griffith! And she's like, this guy's tough. Nice. Okay. Would you lower your sword? I guess not. And then Griffith parries against him. Uh-huh. I love this. I love this opening battle with him and Guts. And then, yeah. And then he goes back and gets him right in the arm. He was quick. He also had the high ground. He was on top of a freaking horse. So, I mean, I don't know, Guts, if you had a chance of getting past him. That's our Griffith. Just one blow with one strike. I like the Casca. You instantly see her being so happy around Griffith, being like, you did it, Griffith. And then when Corcus speaks up, she's like, excuse me, was I talking to you? If you don't know how deep the water is, don't jump in. Well, that is something Corcus never applies. So even to the very end, that was my mistake. You've made your point, Casca. But then, yep, Guts gets back up. I like that we're establishing the dynamic between Casca and Corcus just right here and now, right? Oh, the look on Griffith's face in that eye, it looks like Femto. The way that there's a sheen in Griffith's eye and the way that his face looks there is exactly like Femto's. Huh. What is with this guy? So there's almost like, does Griffith see in Guts being like, you're persistent, you're of value to me, you're not like the rest, you know? And that's when he tells Casca to stand aside, right? And then he's going to face, I like that you can see his head through, you can see his face underneath the mask, underneath the helmet. But then, yeah, Guts loses too much blood and he collapses. That's a really good way of drawing that. I like how Miura illustrated him like slowly collapsing. And then the helmet comes off. Look at this shit. There's no way. The most unrealistic thing about this entire manga is the fact that Griffith never has helmet hair. There is not a hair out of place. The volume, the bounce. I would look like a rat's nest if I wore that helmet all day and took it off. But Griffith just pulls it off and it's just like Legolas coming off the battlefield in the middle of Helm's Deep. It's like, how are you not covered in dirt? And then, yeah, him shining. Beautiful. Let's make Griffith look as beautiful as possible. Oh, wow. Look at this. Wow, it shows them looking older because, yeah, Guts still had the little baby face in this last chapter, but here for chapter 5, Guts' face looks more, the masculinity, like the age is starting to set in, puberty starting to set in for Guts, basically. And Griffith, too. Interesting. Oh. Wow. And Guts being naked. Okay. This all takes on a much bigger context now that we've seen the manga because that hulking form looks like Donovan. So is that form? Is it Donovan? Is it Gambino? It's chasing a naked a naked Guts with the sword. So that leads me to believe that it's Donovan, and it's commenting on that experience because Guts is also a child in this dream. So that makes me think that that's the case. That makes more sense. And then we have, this is the dream on the hill. Yeah, this was it, of all the bones. And Gambino. Yep. Cutting this thing with a sword won't work. That's my right leg you've got in your hand. Without that, you can't even use a sword. I'm dead and gone. You shoved your sword through my throat. It hurt a lot, even to death. Oh my God! Oh no! Ew! Oh man, Mira, not necessary. Nope, not necessary. Good feeling gone. Nope. Shit. Yeah. Who'd help the creep who caused all this anyway, right? Oh my God. Well, that just added another layer to the dog that he kicked, that it was a bitch. Oh my God. And it was sis. Oh my God. What? God. And then, yep, Donovan is, yep, that one there. You should have died. You should have died. Forgive me, Gambino. Oh God, the little skeletons of sis and him looking back at him. What? Okay. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. And it was her, yep, with dark eyes. Ugh. Because she's, what, 15 there? Probably. Keeping it tasteful, Mira. Good. And then he thinks of Griffith. He's like, was it Griffith? But no. A merc band. Really tough. Okay, we haven't seen Rickert yet, but maybe we will soon. But I like that we see all these guys here playing cards. We see the one guy taking a bath and them like shaving their like facial hair with the sword. And then we see Griffith dealing with Casca. He just looks like he could be unbothered, right? And she's lamenting to him, and he's just like, oh, well, meh, meh, meh. And then she like stumbles off. The thing about it is, she's lamenting everything, and Griffith, his action to her, it almost feels like he just couldn't be bothered, but he's trying. He knows that she's useful to him. So again, we're going back to like, did Griffith really care about them, or was he always using them? And I think it's both. But I think at this point, just by his like nonverbals, he's not even looking at her. She's yelling, and he's just kind of like, and then he's just like there, and she like gets mad at him, and he's like, well, what did I do? I was listening to you. Almost like he doesn't get it. But then the dark eyes. Yeah. Oh, girl. And she just punches him. I wish you died after Griffith was through with you. So meanwhile, suddenly we see Judo. And Judo looks great. Judo looks so good. Where was Judo with them guns hanging out? Where was Judo with these biceps? Like Miura's giving us Judo eye candy, and you could not let us, we just couldn't be bothered, could we? What, like, Judo is sculpted. What is happening? Why? She gave up being a woman so she could be a mercenary. She's a better swordsman than the men here. Okay. Now, a lot of people were trying to be like saying that Judo always had a thing for Casca, and then he just gave up on that and like let her be with Guts. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm trying to keep an open mind. About it. And so he obviously knows a lot about Casca from the start here. So that does lend some credibility to that theory, right? I don't think I ship Judo and Casca, but see that. By Griffith's orders, she had to sleep with you for 2 days and nights to warm up your body since you'd gone cold from losing so much blood. Warming a man is a woman's duty, he said. Which is interesting too, because it's like none of the guys were going to do it. Now, I'm sure that Griffith, does he believe that from like what he's been told, or did he just know that Casca would do it and wouldn't kill him? Because at this point, Corcus and them, they weren't going to warm his body up. They would have killed Guts, and Griffith didn't want Guts to die. So the only person he knew that he could tell to do this and get away with it was kind of Casca. So he just made the excuse to make it, maybe to save her face, but then at the same time he wasn't saving her face. So what we do. But then, yeah, I like that we can already see from Guts being 15 that he has like the broad shoulders and everything laid down. But Griffith looks really good there too with the rolled up sleeves. I'm Griffith. What's your name? Guts. What a meeting, right? And he's like, what the hell are you doing, Judo? And he's like, sorry. Okay. And he's like, it's an amazing sword. I could never wield it. It's not his style, right? He's like, would you accompany me? And then Judo's like, I like that we got the little glimpse of Judo with the knife. I like that we got that right off the bat. And of course, Casca's like, what is Griffith doing with Guts? Hey, there's Rickard. Oh my gosh, look at him. He's so cute. Yes. Maybe he's making an ally. He was incredibly strong. I bet he'll be... on our side, he'll be really happy with the really helpful with the battles. Aw, quick spouting crap, Rickard. Aw, leave him alone. You're the one who started it. I love that Rickard was thinking it. He's like, well, it's all your fault. So, I mean, you kind of started this whole thing. And then Pippin. Oh, there's such babies here. Baby Corcus, baby Pippin, baby Judo is not very much of a baby Judo. And then baby Rickard. Yes. Okay. Who are they? The guys with the evil eye. The Band of the Hawk. And Guts knows who that is. Yeah, he's like, oh, you know of us. He's like, just rumors. Yep. One of the last merc groups you ever want to meet on the battlefield. The last castle siege should have been over in 3 days, but took 3 months. Since they were on the other side. They're all so young. I like that Griffith gets to the top of the mountain there and he's like, I want adventure in the great wide somewhere. Just get to the top of the mountain, just flying around. There's dandelions going everywhere. It's like, why did you miss my heart? It should have been easy. And I love that Casca, like, sneaking around following. Why didn't you kill me? Because I realized I want you, Guts. Griffith wants Guts for his collection. He wants him to use as a tool. And that's why he spared him. And of course, Casca's like, the fudge? And I like, oh, Guts just comes out and asks if he's gay. Well, Griffith doesn't answer the question. I just want to point that out there. Griffith does not answer the question. So possibly yes. Oh man, we were also in that castle 4 days ago and fortunate enough to watch your one-on-one combat with Bazuso. It was admirable, but it was dangerous. If his axe hadn't cracked, it would have been you with the cloven head. And he's like, probably. And he's like, you're honest. The way you fight, it's almost as though you're gambling with your own life. This is true. I want to make note, just for the record, Griffith did not say, no, I'm not gay. He let the question hang there. I'm just saying there was no definitive answer. Yep. And you don't budge an inch against a monster like Bazuso or multiple opponents like Corcus's group. You run in recklessly, sword swinging. It's no doubt courageous, but it seems that while intentionally exposing yourself to the risk of death, you're struggling to make it out alive, and that's how it felt to me. And Guts is like, well, why are you doing this psychological evaluation of me, damn it? I mean, yeah, I'm gambling with my life, but you don't know me. You're interesting. And I've taken a liking to you. That face is so creepy. I want you, Guts. I mean, he didn't answer the question of whether he was gay or not. He says he'd taken a liking to Guts. He finds him interesting. He wants him. What more do you all want? It's just, it's there on the page. I don't know what else you want. And then Casca's over there just being like, well, confirmation. Guess my radar was not working. Who does he think he is talking to people like that? I love that Griffith's like, oh, he's like, and if I say no, do you bet your ass hell no. I love in that moment how childlike Griffith looks and how innocent he looks. He's just like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, talking like you know who I am. You don't even know. It's like, what do you know? What can you even know? We've never even met. He's like, I don't know at all. It's just the way I felt. And Guts saying, this makes me sick. You stab me, now you're all buddy-buddy. That idea of, and it's not necessarily, look, I'm not saying that like the idea of affection from Griffith is making Guts feel sick, but it's literally the idea that someone is caring about him and someone feels something for him, that he's just like, he's never had these feelings be genuine and not had an ulterior motive. So he's just finding it's giving vibes kind of like Donovan again, but in a different context. And so, of course, he's just like, no, I don't, nope. Because all he knows from people having affection towards him at this point in his life is people like Donovan and Gambino. And they're not exactly great models for that. And so Griffith coming along and being a different form of it, of course, it reminds me a lot of Twittering Birds Never Fly. Yashiro, the main character of that series, he has a lot of trauma from his past, but one of his things is he's never had someone like genuinely love him. And so when the character Domeki shows up and he genuinely loves Yashiro, Yashiro does not know how to deal with it. And he's like, no, he's like, I'd rather have you hate me because I know what that feels like. And I know how to deal with that feeling. I don't know how to handle this. And I'm not comfortable with it. And that's exactly what Guts is going through. It's like, you're the ones who attacked me. It's like, I was just minding my own business. You and me were enemies. And then Griffith's like, what will you do? And he's like, well, that's simple. I'm going to settle with these. And if I win, I'll give you a matching hole in your chest. And he's like, well, what if I win? Then make me your soldier. Oh my God, or whatever. Well, you asked for it, Guts. So, we talked about this in the anime, wondering whether Guts always knew that Griffith liked him like that. And because by the end, Casca's like, he can't live without you. Do you not get it? And Guts is like, what? In the anime. So here he's acknowledging it. He thinks, he's like, I don't care if you use me as a soldier or as your lover or whatever. Guts, you said this. You said this to where Griffith would think that you understand. Do you understand? Oh my God. And then Griffith's like, okay. So you say, I don't dislike doing things by force. What a phrase. What a phrase. And then Casca's like, Griffith. And he's like, stay out of this. I must obtain the things I desire. The Guardians of Desire. And Griffith, I want the things I desire, and I'll do whatever it takes to get them. Imagine that, right? That damn superior attitude. It makes me sick. Oh, yeah. Acting like you're better. I love Pippin's sixth sense. He's like, what's up, Pippin? Look. I love the Rickard's like, Pippin's like he just like points out to where it's happening. And everybody shows up. Oh. We'll get Griffith booty there. Mm-hmm. That is the one thing that I like, because normally there have been like a couple shots of Casca where it's just been like butt shots, and normally like mangaka is just like objectifying through the male gaze, like seeing the female characters. No, you get Griffith booty, you get Guts booty, you get all sorts. It's like the gaze is a little bit more even keel from Miura at this point. Although still, last volume with the vampire lady, Why were her ass cheeks the only one out? I'm still not over it. This guy's good. Uh-huh. And so then, yeah, you get Guts getting excited that he can, has found somebody that's a worthy opponent, right? And then Griffith's like, well, we could postpone this. And Guts is like, no, I'll win. I'll beat him. Stronger, faster, stronger. Like, that song starts playing. And then, of course, Corkus and them are like, well, we'll just kill that prick. And Casca's like, no, don't interfere. And then I like that Corkus was like going to shove her aside. And she's like, no. Corkus is like, oh, yeah. Corkus looks very different in the manga here than he does in the anime, right? Which I'm guessing I'm used to the adult Corkus, so I'm guessing he'll change to reflect that. But him looking younger here is so interesting, right? But yeah, Guts being like, I have to beat him. And yeah, and then Griffith, oh man, just poking him all over. And then, yeah, there's such a desperation with Guts here that later on is not going to be when he faces Griffith again, right? And then Guts has the sword down, right? But, oh, look at that page! Griffith jumped on the sword and missed it, yeah. Guts didn't swing fast enough, which... he had all the cuts on him, so, how could he swing faster? Oh, that's such a good page. I love that page so much. That's so good. Yes, please. Look, just the two of them. The way that they're both aiming at each other. I mean. It's beautiful. Poetry. He's godlike. Griffith beat him. I like you more and more. You'll do anything to win. But you can't swing a sword like this. You're free to give up if you wish. I'll show you how mouths should be used in a fight. You're a talkative bastard. Man, well, Griffith's not a talkative bastard anymore. Like, Femto didn't say hardly 2 words last time he saw him. Oh. Wow. But the idea that Griffith likes him because he'll do anything to win... I mean, and then we saw them back in the cave there. Oh, yeah. Yep. And this is like first Baby Guts starts out with the sword in the mouth the wrong way. And then by the time he faces off against the count, he puts it in the right way with the hilt, continuity. And Griffith's like, what the fudge? I love it. Yes. Oh, it's our last chapter. And Griffith, and then, can you feel the love tonight? And then, oh, look, you can see where the sword came out. It looks like a little devil tail. The angel and the devil. Yes. And he's fallen. All I have is the Lion King sequence where they roll down the hill. That's always going to be my head for this scene, right? And then Griffith sprawled out in the grass and he looks like Nala and he looks all sexy. Like, come on now. They're children, though, so I can't say that here. Oh, I've never seen Griffith like that crawling on the ground. Oh my God. And Guts being like, bleh, with like blood in his mouth. How's your own blood taste? I bet that's the first time that pretty face has ever been hit. Oh, that look from Griffith. Ooh, that is a fiendish look. That is a fiendish look. Oh, ooh. They're all the markers. Like, from the manga's perspective, we already know what Griffith becomes. So it's like all the markers are there that you're like, no, he's maybe always been this way, but it's been layered and hidden deeper and deeper. Oh. Yep. He's like, I'm going to dislocate your shoulder, so you choose. And he's like, you asshole. I like that we went on the previous page, the close-up of Griffith's face, and then on this page, it's a close-up of Guts' face. That's a smart move by Miura. I like that. I like that a lot. And then crack. There we go. Yep. Oof. And then Griffith's like, it's fine. I was perfectly fine, everyone. It's okay. It's all good. And then I like that Corcus is, because Corcus, what an ass. Like, he goes to pick up Guts, but he picks him up by the arm that was dislocated. Really, Corcus? And then Griffith, like that stance, the stance that Griffith is in with his legs spread like that looks a lot like the femto pose that he had from the last volume. And now you belong to me. What does that mean? From now on, he's one of the Hawks. Y'all. You belong to me. Yeah. And they're all like, okay. And then Casca saying he's never said that before. He's never said that a thing like that. I want you to anybody. Yeah, in all of the other examples, they've all joined Griffith and been like, I want to join you, Griffith. But here, Griffith's like, I want you, Guts. It's like, ooh. I mean, it's a damn romance. It's enemies to lovers to exes to enemies. Like right back over again, right? The angstiest of romances. Can we agree on that? And then, of course, Guts is like, I lost. It was pathetic. That innocent grin, ear to ear, like some little kid. But the bastard didn't think twice about pulling my shoulder out of its joint. He yanked it like it was a doll's arm. What the hell is he? 'Tis a question. It's like you have Guts and Griffith that are two monsters. They're both demons, but one looks like an angel, right? Ugh. And then okay, so even in the manga, Corcus just gathers. I always thought this was hilarious. Corcus gathers his men outside the tent, being like, "Oh, we're gonna kill him," and he's like, "Yeah," and then Guts is like, "What the fudge?" But then Casca's like, "No, we are not going to kill him at all." I like Corcus even has little pointy ears too. I like that Miura draws all the guys with pointy ears, but her ears are rounded, which is interesting to me. Interesting. I guess, is that supposed to be the way we tell if a character is male or female in this world? Maybe. She's like, I'll take your head. Uh-huh. That makes two I owe you, so I'll say thanks for now. I love this, like, this little moment here where Guts like kind of says thank you to her. In that moment is like the little sprouts, the seeds of it all, right? She's like, if I didn't, who'd bother with you? Go and get yourself killed in battle. But it's like, that's a little seed burying right there. Like Guts coming out and saying thank you to her, I feel like was just the start of it, right? And then, just like before, he takes his sword out and sleeps next to it. Like he has since he was a kid. Oh my God. All right, so we have this sprawling open shot with all the trees. I love it. It's beautiful, giving us a little bit of a little landscape to go off of. Start from there. And then, yes, the enemy's main force is atop the hill, 2,000 strong. Wow, it feels so interesting coming back to this moment where it's like the very beginnings of the Band of the Hawk and all of that. All right. They didn't miss a beat, but they've got that much confidence in Griffith. And the rear guard will have Guts see to it. And they're all like, oh, really? It's a rough job, and you have to keep the enemies busy and protect the escape of your allies. It's a direct forest road, but you'll still have perhaps several hundred horsemen at bay while fleeing, and there's a high risk of death. Can you do it? And he's like, is it an order? And he's like, yeah. I like that at first Guts is like, well, I'm only doing this if it's an order because I owe you. And Griffith's like, yes, then it's an order, right? But Casca's like, he's not just doing this to test him. He trusts Guts, the louse. Because she's like, yeah, he would not give him this duty just to test him, right? And then, of course, Corcus is like, well, that's the end of him. Oh, look. Oh, wow. I love this. So I love Rickard with his little helmet and his little crossbow being like, yeah. And then Pippin's like being stoic there. The face that Judo makes. The face that Judo makes is so intriguing. It's just this very nonchalant look, but there's like a distance there. There's like a sadness there with Judo that I wasn't expecting. Interesting. Also, note, in the anime, they waited a long ass time before they said Judo's name. And so I thought there was some kind of relevance to that. And then here, he said Judo's name like the first time they met him. So I guess the anime just forgot to say it. But I remember thinking there was going to be something to that, being like, there was really nothing to it, which is funny. And then, yeah, them going along the river, which the river and all that is going to tie back later when they face Adon in the fort. And then there's like Judo and them. Yep, Judo with the knives. And we see Judo and his skill there. Okay, and then we're at the enemy encampment. I like Casca's little helmet that she wears. I like that because it not only protects her, but it gives her movement, but it also keeps people from knowing that she's a woman necessarily, right? Interesting. And there's the Band of the Hawk. There's Guts and all of them, and Griffith. Griffith has to have the one horse that looks different than all the others. Griffith's horse has to be the beautiful white horse with him in the gear. Oh my God, just riding into battle. That is amazing. Nice. Okay. And then here we go. And I need the song playing right now. The big 80s, 90s jam. I need the rock song playing. It's not Barricades. But I need that one song playing, right? I feel like that electronic beat is in my head right now. I need it. Mm-hmm. And then disregard the enemy, break through the front line. Okay. A night raid. Oh, look at that. Oh, I wish I had the soundtrack on right now so I could play that song. That would be so perfect. It would be perfect here. And for all of their horses going through. Wow. I also love that Miura not only, the horses all look kind of the same because they're horses, except for Griffith's horse. But I like that Miura took the time to make all of their armor and all of the details on their helmets different. And I think that's kind of important because it shows the Band of the Hawk, even though they're organized as a group, they are kind of this ragtag, group of individuals. So the armor that they're wearing and everything is all different, showing they've come from different places, but they're all gathered around Griffith, which is kind of funny because then when you have the eclipse and you have all the demons gathered around the God Hand, all the demons look different, like they're from different times and eras, but they're all following under the God Hand too. So the parallels, y'all, the parallels. But yep, the double raid. Okay. And then this guy dispatching the cavalry. I feel like all of the opposing officers that they face during these matches have the same mustache. Because he looks like the guy that holds up Griffith's body later on. Like, he looks like the exact same general that holds up Griffith's body, back when he gets out of the cellar. But he also looks like the guy he looks like the guy from the raid that paid off Guts as well. So, and then tried to get him to join their crew, right? Oh. Okay. From here on, it's my job. What is that supposed to be, Zod? Oh, of course they would end there and not have a page in between, but... Oh! Oh, no! Is that really it? Yeah, it says volume 5. It says 5 at the top. Son of a bitch. Ah, no! Damn it. That's a tease. That is a tease. Giving us the cover page for volume 5. How dare. Oh, are we getting Zod next week? Oh, it seems like, okay, so what a weird place to end out the chapter. It's ending the chapter where it's ending the volume where Guts is supposed to, I mean, okay. In the context of the volume, it makes sense because you want to leave your volume off in an interesting place for your audience. So it would make sense to have it be the point where Guts is, it would make sense for it to be the point where Guts is like, oh, you know, I've got to prove myself. I've been a loner this entire time. Am I going to be able to work for someone else and be part of a group? Here's my chance. So it makes sense to end the volume here and then have Guts prove that in the next volume. But I'm honestly glad the anime episode did not do that and showed you all of that. So we've got to finish up this battle. We're going to have a time skip. And then we might be seeing Zod next episode. No big deal. Oh, I need to find my little bookmark that they give us on these. I'm glad that they give us little bookmarks because that's a very important thing. Let me find the bookmark in here and go with that. Oh, man. Volume 2. We're this volume, yeah, we're about a third of the way through, so that's good. That's good. Damn. I'm really enjoying the Golden Age arc so far because we're getting all of that we got with the anime, but plus the extra, which granted, I know why they cut it out now, why you would censor that. But what I like is that in the anime, we had all these moments that had context, but it was a little bit more ambiguous. And here we're starting to see a little bit more of the full picture from the manga's perspective. And so that's really good. But oh my God. This was an amazing volume. I've already gone at nearly an hour and 40 minutes. This has been the longest video yet, right? And I'm sure they're going to get longer as we go through, but holy cow. Lots of things to think about. In my mind, what I'm thinking about moving forward is to see the little moments with Judo and Casca. Is that more apparent in the manga? And then seeing Griffith and his journey, knowing that he becomes Femto, whether you're a manga reader or you've seen the anime, you know what he becomes. Seeing along the way if it's more obvious now that he's always kind of had Femto inside of his heart and the eclipse and the Behelit and everything just let it finally bloom. It's kind of seeming that way now, but I'm going to be curious to see what all we get as we move forward. So I hope you all enjoyed this reaction and discussion. I am very curious to know your thoughts down below. Please, no spoilers, hints, or clues. I'm going to get to it in the manga. Don't worry. But if there's anything we talked about in previous volumes or in the last volume or in this volume that connects to the anime that is not a spoiler, then we can definitely talk about it. So my mods will be reading, so please make their lives easier. Please. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back next week with Volume 5 of the Deluxe Second Edition of Berserk. Bye!